faith. I was going through a very, very, very bad time, very hard time, which I've shared with some of you. And in a very quiet moment, as I laid there in bed, it just struck me, you know what? I can ask God of anything, and God can do anything. So God, if you're there, if you're real, and if you have ever held an ounce of love for me, you will end my life. You will make my heart stop. And I will not wake up tomorrow. I'm done. And I guess in an odd way that was an act of faith. Because I believed that whoever it was out there would just go, yeah, okay, fine. And that's what I believed. And as I laid there, and as I've talked about before, God answers prayers in different ways. And one of them is no. Because what you're asking for, even though you think it's what you want, is really not what you want. And it's not what's best for you. And I want only what's best for you. Now, I could have just woken up the next morning and gone, well, okay, I wasn't being listened to. But you see, Creator knew that that wasn't going to be good enough. So as I laid there waiting for my heart to stop, a little voice came in and said, but you have to wake up tomorrow because something amazing is going to happen and you don't want to miss it. That got my attention. That was an answer. I mean, it was a no. And it's like, well, there better be something freaking amazing tomorrow. And as I went through the day waiting for this amazing thing to happen, and I reached the end of the day and it was like, and then my sons came into the room and just hugged me and said, we love you, Mommy. And I would have missed that. I would have missed being reminded that the amazing thing happened was that I made it through the day, that my children made it through the day. That was not the moment that I believed. That was the moment that got my attention. It opened a doorway. The moment I believed was years later. God, it seems like a lifetime ago, but it really wasn't that long ago. I was overwhelmed. I was losing my home. I was helpless. And all the times that, it's like, nope, I'm in control. I've got this. I can do this. I can handle this. No, nothing is bothering me. Tell me your problems because I'm fine. And I reached a moment that knocked me quite literally to my knees. And I began to weep. And I began to whisper, I can't do this alone. I don't know where that thought came from, but, it became a shout and a scream. I can't do this alone. And in that moment, there was never anything that was truer in my heart, my mind, my body, or my spirit. I can't do this alone. And I surrendered to that. And then once again, after all that time, that presence came back. And it whispered, then stop trying to do it alone. I've been here the whole time. Please let me help you. That was the moment I believed. That was the moment, and in that moment, I felt loved. I felt that there was someone who knew every light and shadow aspect of me and loved me anyway. And in that moment, I knew I was going to be okay. And I felt it say, it's like, all right, get up. And I got up, go wash your face. And I washed my face, get some tea. And I went and got myself a cup of tea and I sat down. And then I felt it say, now talk to me. I'm not asking for your prayers. I want you to talk to me. Tell me what's bothering you. Tell me what it is that you need. But talk to me. I'm your friend. And so I talked. And I mean, it was so amazing because I'd been taught Basically, there's prayer and there's meditation. Prayer is when you send the message out. Meditation is when you get the message back. But this was just talking to. And I sat and I talked and I talked and I talked about everything. And as I talked, I realized on all those things that I had been upset about, all those things that had been scary to me, there was something or someone that came in that helped me, that protected me. And I realized, you have been with me all along. You have been here. I only needed to ask you for help. And you'd be there for me. And then I felt really silly. It's like, well, shoot, I should have been talking to you a long time ago. And I felt this, just kind of a gentle teasing. It's like, yeah, but you didn't know that you could until now. You didn't know I was listening till now. But I'm listening. And you need to let everybody else know that I'm listening. And that was a part of what this song brought up for me. Because I remember what it was like before I believed that I was loved. Before I could believe that no matter what I had done, no matter who I had been, that I was loved and accepted. It reminded me of when I was young and a friend had been very mean to me, and so of course with that group of friends I was suddenly, not a good person or whatever. And so I went home and my mom was there and I told her that, it's like my friend isn't my friend and I'm never gonna have a friend again. And I'm never gonna trust anybody to be my friend again. And my mom gave me a hug and she said, it's okay. Sometimes people say and do things, because they're scared, because they don't know. They don't know you. And the people who go along with it, well, they don't know you either. But it's okay, you will have friends. You will have people in your life who you can trust. Don't stop trusting just because someone has not earned it. Don't stop believing that you are loved. She said, because no matter what, I love you. And I will always love you. And God loves you. And God will always love you. And you will always, always belong in God's club and at God's table. You can sit at the cool table. My mother was the world's most adorable Catholic. Every Catholic. My mom should have been Pope. I really thought that my mom would have been an excellent Pope. And she would have looked really good in the shoes. It's like, before anybody, if somebody came up and kind of bowed, she'd probably tell them, stand up straight. Stand up straight. But the idea that it is something that, for those who recognize it, for those who realize it, it's our job to help someone else realize it. It's our job as reverends and as ministers to help somebody else believe. Not because of us, not because of what anybody teaches. I mean, whatever you believe, but it's said, it doesn't matter what you believe, just believe in something. I'm no saint, and I'm no demon. I'm a person doing the best I can with what I have. I'm someone who makes the best decisions that I can make based on the information I've got. And there's nothing like becoming the leader of a group to find out how loved and demanded you can feel. There's those who support me, and there are those who don't agree with me. I've been encouraged and I've been resented. And I think every single one of us has had that experience. And you just reach that place, what is real? I've got some people telling me I'm great. I've got some people telling me I'm horrible. What is real? What is real is that God loves you. What is real is that you can trust that love. That's what's real. And whether you've had that moment where you believe or not, you will. Because God's patient. And as much as we try to avoid it, you know, sooner or later we reach that place where we're down on our knees saying, I can't do this alone. And then we hear that presence say, then stop trying to do it alone. You never had to. Now, after I listened to this song, I sat in, you know, the parking lot at Wells Fargo and just wept in my car. Then I drove over to UCM where Jan and Corky were there, and I was like, you've got to hear this song. And I pulled it up and I started crying again, and, you know, and I'm very grateful they did not think that the last of their president's gray cells had hit the bug light. I was like, okay, we're gonna get real in this moment. You know, and I had to get real. Because the thing was, it wasn't that I was crying out of sadness. It was that I was crying out of joy at hearing, because right before that song came on, it was playing like on K101. It's a spiritual song, and they don't often play like spiritual songs. And right in that moment, it was one of those moments where it's like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can balance this. I don't know if I can fix this. I don't know if I can be what other people need me to be. Because other people need me to be something. And I don't know if I can do it. You know, if anybody ever thought that I didn't experience that, wrong. I do. And it's deep, and it's hard, and, you know, and it's difficult for me to get past myself to, you know, to say it. And I felt I needed to say that. I needed to say, there's nobody who questions me more than I do. And when I'm at the point where my questions are going into a bad place, then I have somebody who tells me, it's like, you know what? All anybody can expect from you is your best. The best you know how to do. And I know you know we're in this together. I've got your back. We'll do it. We'll piece it together, and you will ask for help. You know, you don't have to be anything more than what you are to be perfect in my eyes. So, just be you. There are people who are going to praise you, and there are people who are going to resent you. There are people who will support you and people who will go behind your back and talk about you. And that's okay, because frankly, I'm grateful for both. Because it's the people who are in the second group that, one, remind me how important the people in the first group are. And they also remind me that I can choose. I can choose to go into that place of hurt. I can choose to go into that place of doubt. Or I can choose to listen to the one who tells me that I am loved, that I am perfect, and I'm only going to be more perfect. And if there is anything that I will count as a success in my life before I leave it, it's that at least one other person will learn to believe for themselves. Not for me, not for whatever it is that is talking to them from outside, but believe because you know it. Because you can listen to what God says and say, yeah, that's me. I can believe it. Corky?
Yep. Was it in number?
It's in number 5.
I've got it, okay.
It's by a woman named Lauren Daigle, and it just came out. And it's called You Say.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every once again just who I am, because I need to know. Ooh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. Oh, I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You'll have every failure, God. You'll have every victory. Ooh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say to me. I believe, oh, I believe, yes, I believe what you say to me. I believe.
Let yourselves believe. Let yourselves be loved. And then help someone else to believe. Thank you.